Hi, Seth Quealy with Mental Edge Sports. I'm here with Brandon McGill, Sports Performance Director at Velocity Sports Performance here in Lehi, Utah. Brandon, thanks for taking the time to talk to me today and the people that are hitting my website, different levels of athletes. Just a little bit of background for you. What do you do in your career aside from being the sports director for Velocity and some of the people you've trained?
I'm a competitive Olympic weightlifter. I've gone to 2 World Universities Championships. I held the 77 and 85 kilo national championship in Scotland when I lived over there. I went to university over in the UK. Some of my favorite athletes to work with are fighting athletes. I've trained Vladimir Mattyushenko and Jared Hammond, both leading up to their fights all through last year. This is my 2nd season working with combine athletes, getting ready for NFL Pro Day, getting ready for sending athletes to the combine. Yeah, so just working with athletes every day.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, a ton of experience then working at the folks that are at the next level. You know, from your experience, what does it take to compete at that next level, both physically and mentally?
One of the things that I've heard from every athlete that I've worked with that's gone up to the next level is they come back, they talk to their coaches, high school, college, going into pro, everything. They always come back and they say, the game is so much faster. And so that makes a huge difference in the way that they train and the way that they have to mentally prepare to train. Training is very, very difficult, especially as you get more experience and up into higher levels. So you have to be willing to make some sacrifices so that when things get hard, you're still coming in the gym, you're still getting in all your training sessions every single week. Mentally, the biggest aspect of coming in to train hard is being able to have the discipline to stay in a program even when things are going hard and things are getting difficult. Whenever we have professional athletes working in here, we go through what I like to call the dark times, and that's when their lifts start to go down because they've been overreaching, they've been working really, really hard, and it takes a mentally strong athlete to be able to come back from that and then realize their peak and realize their potential later on in the program after they've recovered and when they're actually going out to compete on the day.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because I don't think a lot of people realize that, but it takes so much work in the weight room, on the practice field, and then away, as you talk about the mental toughness that it takes and the discipline to actually make the decision to be here and do all the work that it takes. Is there any advice that you give them or things that you've experienced in your own training that you transfer over that can help them be mentally tough enough to stay with that program and keep getting better?
Some of the things that athletes don't understand a lot of the times, that stress is cumulative. So it doesn't matter if it's coming from a physical source or a mental source, your brain is still processing it the same way. So you could be training hard, going to school, and working a part-time job, and athletes think that their training isn't going well just because their training's not going well. They don't take into account the fact that they're going to school, that they're going to work every day. So I let them know that, look, this is all about recovery. We have to be very smart in the way that we're recovering. We have to put our energies into things that are going to get us to our goals in the most efficient manner. So staying mentally strong doesn't just mean we come into the weight room every single day. It means that we work efficiently and we get the things done that we need to do to get to the next level. Going to school, going to work, these are things that a lot of us have to deal with on a daily basis. But these are things that we can't let interfere with our training. So an athlete has to be prepared to disengage from these things when he comes in to work out and not let the problems from outside influence him while he's training. That's
great advice, and the term I use is segment. You got to be able to segment those pieces out of your life so that when you come here, you can be here. When you're home, you can be home, and you're so right. Stress is so cumulative and additive, and helping an athlete, in my opinion, and from what you said as well, really needs to have that ability to separate those out and understand the process and how it works, so that they can maximize their potential within those moments that they're here. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, and something that the first coach that I worked with as a strength coach when I was first beginning my career, he used to tell me that training is a rock. And so, we got into sports because sports are fun. So when you come in to train, when you come in to lift, when you come in to practice your movement, you're doing it because you enjoy doing it, not because you have to come in and work, not because you have to run sprints. And people need to remember that. So when things in life get really difficult, look back on your training and say, right, this is the rock. This is something that I can hold on to. This is something that I can continue to get better at. And this is something that's going to bring a lot of joy into my life, rather than an added stress of, well, I'm not getting better, we're not going anywhere. You have to take everything piece by piece, like you said, segment out the things that are difficult in your life, and then make sure that you cling on to the fact that you're here because you enjoy doing it, not because somebody's forcing you.
Yeah, that attitude is so key in understanding why you do what you do, and making sure that when you're there, you're doing it because you love it, and when you do, you'll get so much out of it. Any more advice for some of the younger athletes and performers that are that I work with or hit my website on maybe what else they can work on to advance themselves to the next level?
One of the things that really helped me when I was weightlifting, when I first started my career, is I'd come out, I'd stomp across the platform, I'd scream, I'd shout before I'd go up to my lifts. And what that actually did was it helped me miss a lot more lifts on the platform. I did some work with a sports psychologist, to kind of help me break this habit. And one of the pieces of advice that he gave me was, when I come onto the platform, when I get ready to compete, I need to have fire in my belly and ice in my mind. So everything needs to be cool and collected in my head, but in my belly I need to have that drive to exceed everything that I've done in the past. And you can't have the fire melt the ice in your head, or else everything that you push, everything that you're going to go for is just going to go everywhere. It's not going to be a focused effort on completing whatever goal you're setting out to do.
That's great advice, and Brandon, I really appreciate the time today.
Absolutely.
And wish you all the best in all that you're doing, and thanks again for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.